Welcome back to another good news episode of Info Hazard. I'm Dan.
Happy.
Yeah, and with me are my co-hosts Phil in the red and David in the yellow. Today I wanted to talk about Letitia James and James Comey. It feels like we should be able to combine them into something, you know.
Letitia
James Comey.
It's like Brad Jelena.
Yeah.
Letitia James Comey.
Except instead of a nice, adorable love story, it's two people who are being persecuted by the President of the United States for daring to act against him.
Wait, it's James Comey and Letitia James?
Yes.
Like if it would be Letitia Comey or James James?
That would be pretty funny if you took her name and he became James James, dude.
Yeah.
Would you have taken your wife's last name if her last name was Philip or David?
Yeah,
I feel like
Philip.
It's an obligation. If you're a silly person like myself, you have no choice but to say yes to such a proposition.
I say yes to the dress.
David.
Taking my wife's
but so
name.
in this case, the U.S. legal system said no to charging them. Trump has tried to prosecute them. In the case of Letitia James, it's he alleged that she lied on her mortgage application. And so first a judge threw out the case, and they tried to get a grand jury to indict. And this week, the grand jury declined to indict, which is like a pretty damning indictment of their case, because there's like a famous line in the legal profession that your average prosecutor can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. So if they couldn't get a grand jury to indict, then that's a pretty good sign that, you know, there's really nothing there.
That's
is it the case, you think? Or do you think it really is like prosecutorial incompetence? I mean, like there are a few Trump lawyers that are in the process of being disbarred.
Well, is this the Halligan who's running this? Who was running the Letitia James one?
Let's see. I don't remember off the top of my head.
It probably is, because I mean, I was following along with the James Comey stuff, and that was eventually dismissed because she was unlawfully appointed.
Lindsay Halligan was the prosecutor.
Right. Yeah, was she she was a former personal lawyer of Trump's, and then she Lindsay Halligan.
Last month, a federal judge said that Lindsay Halligan, Trump's handpicked prosecutor, was unlawfully appointed as an interim U.S. attorney, and therefore the cases against James and another Trump political opponent, former FBI Director James Comey, must be dismissed. Halligan was a former White House advisor who was given the job after the Justice Department pushed out the previous interim U.S. attorney because they wouldn't bring cases.
So what was unlawful about this? So this does kind of relate to like the segment that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk some about like the idea of a unitary executive, like the idea that like why should the president have to be like fighting with his hierarchy all the time? Like why shouldn't he be able to fire people and hire people that he wants to?
Because back when we allowed that, people were just selling the offices. And so then we instituted like a civil service board to make sure that doesn't happen. And that's part of the process, is he can't just hire and fire whoever.
So is that the problem with Lindsay Halligan being the special prosecutor, unlawfully appointed? Like,
I guess
they
didn't
lawfully appoint one.
I guess you probably got to go through some sort of like, you know, review and or confirmation process, you know, to make sure that you're not, you know, unbiased, or foreign governments don't have like dirt on you. They can't pressure you, bribe you, threaten you, blackmail you, that sort of thing.
This is an assistant attorney general that she was unlawfully appointed?
Interim U.S. attorney.
U.S. attorney. Curious. You have to nominate and be confirmed.
Okay. In the cases against Comey and James, defense attorneys argued that the 120-day period an interim U.S. attorney is allowed to serve prior to confirmation from the Senate or approval from the district's judges had already expired when Halligan took the position. So, yeah, you have to have a confirmation by the Senate, or the district judges have to approve you.
So what do you think, guys?
No confirmation.
Does this qualify as getting off on a technicality?
No, because like there like never was any case to begin with. It's just using a technicality to defeat some bullshit.
Yeah, I guess like they didn't progress far enough. I'm not saying that he's like guilty. Like, I know of several other technicalities that were lined up to come next, and I wish they'd been dismissed off the technicality that it's a political persecution, which you can have a case dismissed for that reason. But instead, they did it over this like improper appointment thing, which just is like I don't know. Yeah, it's a funny technicality.
I mean, their defense teams have been using that angle in the defense. It says both James and Comey have pointed to a myriad of comments from Trump calling for them to be prosecuted, and in the case of James, have accused the government of, quote, transforming the Department of Justice into the president's personal agents of revenge. The attorneys pointed to one of Trump's Truth Social posts, which was directed at Pam Bondi in September, which we talked about back then, where he basically said that they're guilty and they should be prosecuted.
Right, but it's sort of like weird and dissatisfying to me that this is the way that they won the case. It's like, come on, like let's win it for political prosecution. Like they were making the argument, they were winning the argument. They clearly were going to win that argument. Anyway.
Well, I mean, she won the grand jury case off of the merits, so
Can I get like a brief tangent on this Lindsay Halligan character?
Go for it.
She's such a Trump figure, such a Trumpian figure. She's a former beauty pageant,
of course,
like participant. She competed in Miss Colorado,
but she didn't win
into the semifinals.
She's a loser.
Yeah, no, hence the career in politics, I suppose. She got a degree in politics and broadcast journalism, which is like the career path for all Trump appointees. When you crash out of your political career, you just become a journalist in the White House press room.
Hey,
She's
plus
like
this
already
is a
set up
revolving
for
door,
that.
dude. It goes both ways, right? Kash Patel went the other way, dude. He started off as the influencer, and now he's the head of the FBI.
You know what? He's had his time. I hope he goes back. He gave it a shot. I don't think it's been working out. He could just go back to podcasting.
Oh my gosh. Can I tangent your tangent? Or you're still mid-tangent? You're still
Please.
mid-tangent. Okay, so
Please,
Dan
let's go deep.
Bongino. You guys know who Dan Bongino is, right? He's like the, I guess,
Director
FBI
of
number
the
2.
FBI, the deputy director of the FBI.
Right, FBI number 2. I think it's like similarly like a former like podcaster, conspiracy theorist pusher, and he was interviewed because I guess they like finally they're charging someone who had a pipe bomb on Jan 6th, or like who planted a pipe bomb.
A couple of them.
And he spent Bongino had spent a bunch of time spinning it was clearly an inside job kind of thing, but now they're pressing charges and he's really proud of it. And he went on some show, I think on Fox, it was like Hannity or something, and he asked him, didn't you say this was an inside job? And he just flat out says it. He's like, I used to be paid to say these things, but now I'm paid for the facts and to pursue the evidence. Anyway. Sorry, I just found it was just such an insane quote. Anyway, it's refreshingly honest moment from a guy who's just happy. I was a prostitute. I would say whatever they paid me to say. What was that, Dan?
God.
I said he's way worse than a prostitute, dude. Prostitutes only sell their body. He was selling his mind.
They're providing a service. He's contributing to the downfall of society.
But not even because he believes in it, just because he was getting paid, dude.
I feel like we don't want to pick too much on prostitutes. Yeah, this guy, total shithead.
We stand prostitutes here. Sexual work is real work.
Unwinding our tangents back to Phil's original tangent about Lindsay Halligan.
That was all. I just thought it was kind of funny. I feel like they make these
Beauty
people
queen
in the lab.
check.
She's pre-made for Fox News, got her start in the law so she could get into politics, and now she doesn't have a job so she can go on to Fox and then later go back into politics because she was on Fox. Yeah,
all the while just sucking at all of it.
I don't know, maybe she'll be I mean, how would you rate success at Fox News? This minister of propaganda was especially effective.
Yeah, I just basically wanted to bring this up because this is one of the things that regular ordinary people can end up doing to help fight against the creeping tide of fascism. If you get put on a grand jury or a regular jury for a case like this, then you can say not guilty. Look up something about jury nullification and, vote not guilty, even if they're, technically guilty, but you don't think it should be a crime. Yes, you're right.
Wait,
as
what?
a U.S. citizen. Yeah.
That's not even necessary. Now you're talking about
it wasn't necessary
the Luigi
in this case.
It wasn't necessary in this case, but there could be other cases where technically somebody might be guilty of, vandalism or whatever.
Like
but
throwing a sandwich.
Throwing a sandwich against a nice officer's bulletproof vest didn't actually harm him.
Constitute felony assault. No.
Yep.
Even if it may be by the letter of the law.
Then the other reason I wanted to mention this and kind of make it my episode for the week is I think in our current news cycle, you'll see the bad news, like Trump is prosecuting these people baselessly, they've been charged, and then they got saved by the legal system, and it all worked out the way it was supposed to. Ends up being sort of a smaller news story, and people don't see it, and so they end up seeing only the bad stuff and feeling more hopeless.
Yeah, I
Is my way
remember.
of pushing back.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just a smart point. I think that they had very little hope that these cases were going to succeed, and I think they probably knew it. But the optics are very important to them, and we know this. I remember Trump. What was it? There was some leak from the FBI because Trump had wanted to have a perp walk with James Comey with like a big beefy. He'd requested a big beefy FBI agent.
Yeah, we're making all the Frederick William jokes.
So anyway, right, like you don't do that if you're not just like all about the optics of it. And yeah, they know that the truth, their whole system relies on people not paying attention, but just getting the impressions along the way. And so they create these impressions like with a perp walk and with an indictment. But yeah, not guilty or case dismissed. Episode dismissed.
Yep. That's been another banger of an episode of Info Hazard.
Bang,
Make sure
bang.
to like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that good YouTube stuff. And we'll see you tomorrow for another banger of an episode.